Hello and welcome to another video from the Marketing Study Guide. In this video we're going to have a look at the for and against of using geographic segmentation bases to construct your target market. My name's Jeff and I'm a long-term marketing lecturer and practitioner. Now, as you know, these are the main ways to segment a market. We're going to drill down into geographic in this video, but there are other videos on each of the possible approaches that you can use. Just before we start, just a reminder of what we're trying to do when we construct market segments and identify target markets. In the segmentation process, as you can see by the simple image there, we are trying to create common groups of consumers that are distinct from each other. So this group here, for example, they have something in common regarding their consumption, their product preferences, their attitudes, their lifestyles, their demographics, something that we can utilize to work with and mold our marketing strategy and marketing mix. So they need to have something in common, and they also need to be distinct. So this group here needs to have different sets of needs as compared to the other segments we have identified. And the end result is we pick a target market or more than one, and that one helps us to develop a better strategy and a better marketing mix for long-term business success. So let's have a look at the fors and against of segmentation basis. So basically with geographic, we are using the location of where people live, or if they're businesses, where they're located. Geographics can be very broad. We could look at a region of countries, we could look at continents, or we can drill down to very small areas. So the scale of it has a lot of flexibility. And what we're trying to do down here, as it says, we're looking for where consumers are different. Typically, we're looking for a region or a city where consumers in that area have something in common that is distinct from other areas. Okay, so reasons to use geographic segmentation bases is one, it's simple to define, understand. Our target market live or reside in this area. Now, if we're a manufacturer, using geographics is fantastic because we logistically have to move products and often get them into retailers. So if we're just targeting a geographic area, that makes our logistics challenge, our transport, even our wholesaling, and the sales calls to retailers a lot easier. Also, it's quite effective for our, let's call it traditional media as well as digital media. So traditional media is things that have been around for a long time: TV, radio, outdoor, even old-fashioned newspapers and magazines. That is effective in that regard because typically the TV station will broadcast to a local area. You'll have a local radio station. You'll have obviously billboard and transit advertising in a geographic area. So we can structure our media retention appropriately. Obviously, if we're a small local business, we need to use geographic segments. And the other big time operators would be fast food players or any large retailer that is looking to expand by adding more outlets or potentially a franchise operation. And they would look at a geographic area and go, does that have potential? Is that somewhere we can make a viable market expansion? Now, the downside of using geographic segments is that we rely on the assumption, because people live in the same area, they have similar needs. Now, I'll touch on that in a moment. That may or may not be true. Okay, but the underlying assumption is that there is something in common. Otherwise, if they just happen to live in the same area and they have quite distinct purchasing needs and lifestyles, it's a pointless segmentation to use. I've got there, most likely we'll need to segment the market further using something else. So yeah, we can define a target market geographically, and that helps us from a manufacturing viewpoint, for example, as I touched on. But we also need a little bit more detail about them as a consumer. So I've got down here, it's an older approach to segmentation, very popular in manufacturing eras. Obviously, many countries still have manufacturing, but a lot of developed economies are now very much service-based, where the logistics isn't as important as it used to be. So just to finish on, logically, there are reasons why geographic regions would have similar underlying consumer needs. Big driver of that is obviously climate. So climate from going from a very hot or a tropical, a coastal, the snow areas, etc., that changes a lot of the core demands. So obviously clothing, housing, energy, transport, things that they do for fun outside the house, or the extent of time they go outside the house, etc., structuring restaurants and bars and entertainment around different climates, even shopping activities, potentially even how home deliveries are done for various products. So climate can have a big impact. And of course, the most critical one is the local culture and customs. So you could have a city that is in a larger country, and that city has distinct things about their culture. So we call that a subculture, and that will impact things like, lifestyle, what things that they do, their opinions, their views, etc., even the food they eat, possibly even the clothes they wear, etc. So that's it. There's plenty of other videos on segmentation. Hopefully that is helpful for you.